Optics 101, how does vision work? We have two eyes. Everyone knows that. The way the image falls on your eyes, it requires processing. It doesn't just transmit the information that it gets, the light that falls on the retina. That image actually is inverted, it's upside down. For depth perception, for proper appreciation of what is actually seen, you require the interpretive capacity, the processing of the brain. Your own experience, your own understanding, your knowledge plays a role in that process. So, all in all, any of these parts is damaged, you're not going to be able to see appropriately. Your vision is going to be distorted. One of the first criticisms that you're going to see in Surah Al-Kahf is going to be against the Christian creed of Jesus being the Son of God and the impact that that has on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Quran contends with that claim and says that it has no basis in knowledge. It has no justification. It does not represent reality at all. But what represents reality comes from some legitimate source of knowledge. Now, because this claim has nothing to do with reality, it also does not have any legitimate source in knowledge. There's no evidence for it. Now, when a religious clergy, leaders of a religious group, take for themselves this right to make claims that have no basis in knowledge, that they have no evidence for, they give themselves a lot of undue authority. Now, wherever there is a legitimate knowledge that represents reality, that particular religious clergy is going to be very averse to that type of knowledge. They're not going to want people to approach that knowledge because it threatens their authority, it threatens their claims, it questions the reasonable basis, the logic behind the claims that they're making. And so they're going to do whatever is in their undue power, and they have a lot of that power, to shut down such avenues of knowledge. Now, whether they are avenues of empirical knowledge, or they are avenues of pursuing reason, or they're avenues that ground knowledge in sound scripture, they're not going to want to promote that. They would want that their people remain ignorant, because that's the only way they're going to fall for their logic, their illogical logic. And so it develops this power class, this ruling class. Always the Christian clergy has tag teamed with some tyrant or another in their history from the very beginning. And when they remove the restrictions of being relevant or addressing the Bani Israel and open the call up to everyone, they become a missionary religion, something that Isa alayhi salam did not claim for himself, but later innovations in Christianity did open itself up. And they have as many followers as they do. And they have this tag team with tyrannical rulers. Now, the tyranny of their rulers is given a religious legitimacy from that clergy. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. You let us remain, you give us, our church, a standing, a position, a funding, and we will continue to tell the people, back off. These are the divine rights of the kings. And whenever anybody approaches any kind of legitimate knowledge to challenge your injustice, we will be standing in the way to ward them off. And so they develop what it can be understood as a dualist hermeneutics. A hermeneutics, or a way of reading scripture, which situates everything religious and spiritual in another world. God, afterlife, spirit. These otherworldly phenomena are to take absolute precedence. This world, this body, human beings, puny, pathetic, lowly, to be tolerated, dirty. Everything about them, don't worry about it. So if anyone faces any injustice, be patient. This is the will of God. If anyone is deprived in any way, these are worldly pleasures anyway. Why should you be crying over them? You're supposed to be men of God. You're supposed to be dedicated to His will. You dare question fate? These kings have been appointed by God over you. How dare you challenge them? So the religion becomes, in the words of Karl Marx, an opium of the masses. A means of desensitizing them, numbing them, while atrocities, injustices are being hurled left, right, and center. So there are these two unbridgeable, unrelatable parts to reality, this spiritual realm and this worldly realm. The dajjalic, if I may use that word, view of looking at reality is to just look at that spiritual realm. Forget the material realm. Why bother with it? This one-eyed view of reality that always will produce injustice and distortion. The historical reaction inevitably became, we don't want to have anything to do with this religion. Interestingly, inspired by Muslim Spain itself. But the European revolt against this kind of demonic religiosity, diseased religiosity, was another extreme reaction in itself. It said, okay, we'll accept that dualist hermeneutics, that dualist ontology rather. We'll say, okay, there are these two realms. We're more concerned about the human one. We're more concerned about the this worldly one, this life one. We're more concerned about this body. So away with God, away with afterlife, away with the spirit, away with all of what you have deceived us with or numbed us with. We're going to take matters in our own hands. And so with this rebellion, you have the scientific revolution. It is a revolution which looks towards technological advancements or turns in the direction of technological advancement. The Industrial Revolution is part and parcel of it, but it has a very anti-religious sentiment within it, deeply ingrained within it. It is a generational trauma that makes it averse to its own mother, which is religion. And it looks at all religion as different expressions of Christianity, including Islam. And so what becomes the global order is an order that only has this one materialist eye open and the spiritual eye forced shut. How there is an organic relationship between the two, shut up, we can't talk about it. That's unscientific. That's superstition. Those are your biases. We will talk about objective, unbiased, neutral, materialist stuff only. These are the only acceptable methods of knowing. Our naturalist methods, our empiricist methods. Your revelation, that's just fiction, that's literature. That's not real science. That's not real knowledge. And so here we are, a world which is as technologically advanced as it is, but there is nothing to ground its morality, which has this incredible eye for what's going on the furthest star and in the nuclei of your cells, but has no idea of what human beings should do or should not do. No grounding for morality, no grounding for ethics.